Welcome to SAT-TV News. We are happy that you could have joined us. I am Alicia George. In our top stories, BRIT Week focused on strengthening ties with Dominica concludes. Ministry of Finance gets the largest chunk of the budget allocations. In the region, US $2 million pledged towards new home project in Antigua and Barbuda. And internationally, Christian woman sentenced to death in Sudan has arrived in Rome. In sports, Dominican athletes represent the Nature Isle in 2014 Commonwealth Games. Details of these will follow. Welcome back. 9 members representing the High Commission and the British High Commissioner to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Victoria Dean, have placed their focus on strengthening ties with Dominica. The team, which arrived here on Monday, met with members of the media on Thursday to give details of the visit. According to the Commissioner, the members represent teams involved in trade, politics, the Britain Crime Agency and other policing services in the United Kingdom.
So I have a big team with me representing different sections and representing a little piece of everything that the British government does here in the Caribbean region. So I have colleagues from my consular team who are here doing outreach to British citizens or to people who would like to travel to Britain or go and study there. They are doing some crisis planning to think about how we would react and both help Dominica but also look after British nationals in the event of a crisis here.
The teams all have assigned duties to address strengthening ties with the people of Dominica.
I'm here with my trade team who lead on looking for opportunities for British businesses to come and invest here or set up business here or get their products into the Dominican market, but equally looking in the other direction at how we can ensure that Dominican businesses have the chance to operate in Britain. I'm here also with my political team who help me to really understand Dominica, to share our message with members like yourselves of the media and understand what's happening, not least as we look at things like the budget that's being debated in Parliament this week, or even as we build towards an election sometime in the early part of next year here in Dominica.
The National Crime Agency will target the distribution of narcotics from within the region, primarily destined for the United Kingdom. Dean says the teams are also on island to promote the Chevening Scholarship Program.
This is a program that the British government has run for 30 years now, where we fully fund students to travel to Britain and complete a master's in a particular field of study. Very often something related to the public sector, but it could be law, engineering, education, criminology, whole variety of subjects. And what we seek to do is really find the brightest future leaders in a country and select them for this scholarship program.
Registration for the program opens on August 1st, 2014, after which 4 students from the Eastern Caribbean will have the opportunity to study in the United Kingdom. The team will host a British film screening on Thursday night at the Alliance Française and will leave the island on Friday. The Ministry of Finance will receive the largest allocation of funds from the 2014-2015 national budget, which translates to 27.6% or $104.4 million. This was revealed by Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit during his budget presentation on Wednesday. He said the allocation includes provisions for interest payments and loan amortization of $61.9 million and for retiring benefits of $23 million. The Finance Minister also detailed the various ministries and their budget allocations.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Madam Speaker, has been allocated a capital budget of $11.5 million or 6.7% to continue implementation programs that will increase the output of agricultural commodities. Resources provided under the European Union EU-funded banana accompanying measures will be used to finance critical interventions in the agricultural sector. The program for the rehabilitation of feeder roads and farm access in the major production areas will continue with grant funding from the bank. The Ministry of Agriculture will undertake a banana stabilization program to increase acreage of banana and plantains. 500 acres will be rehabilitated with tissue culture planting material.
The Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development will receive $62.9 million, which translates to 16.6%, but $47.7 million, or 12.6%, will go to the Ministry of Health. Meanwhile, the Ministry of National Security will receive an allocation of $37.7 million, or 10%, while the Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Ports will receive the sum of $33.4 million, or 8.8%.
Madam Speaker, The Ministry of Environment, Natural Resources and Physical Planning will receive $10.9 million, or 6.4% of the total capital allocation. The major project to be implemented is the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project, DVRP. This project is aimed at reducing vulnerability to natural hazards and climate change impacts in Dominica. The project comprises of 4 components: prevention and adaptation investments. This component is designed to reduce physical vulnerability and pilot adaptive measures to build resilience to current and future hydrometeorological shocks.
The Prime Minister announced the Ministry of Social Services will receive $17.6 million, or 4.7%. The budget includes $378.5 million for recurring expenditure, inclusive of debt servicing, interest and amortization, and $173.8 million in respect of the Public Sector Investment Program, PSIP. The current account surplus of $77.2 million is anticipated for 2014-2015, and the estimated primary balance is 0.8% of gross domestic product.
The Ministry of Tourism and Legal Affairs will receive $5 million, or 2.9% of the PSIP budget. After several phases of discussions, I am happy to report that we have resolved all the outstanding technical matters, and we are in a position to start the actual construction of the Roseau River Promenade. In preparation, a retaining wall is being constructed on the northern link bank of the river. The effort to improve air access will continue, likewise upgrades to facilities at tourist sites.
The Finance Minister added that grants are expected to come from European Union, the People's Republic of China, the Government of Venezuela, the Climate Investment Fund, and the Kingdom of Morocco. Other grants will also come from India, Mexico, Suriname, Bahamas, and Guyana for rehabilitation for the aftermath of the December 24, 2013 drought system. United Workers' Party, UWP's parliamentary representative for the Roseau Central constituency, Honorable Norris Prevost, says the 2014 to 2015 national budget does not help Dominica's economy. Speaking to reporters following the Prime Minister's budget address on Wednesday, July 23rd, Honorable Prevost noted it is also a poor response to the UWP's budget presented on Tuesday, July 22nd, which focuses on the growth of Dominica's economy.
What Mrs. Skerrit has presented there is the same old thing that has failed to grow the Dominican economy for the last 12 years of his administration. Basically, the growth sectors of this economy is the tourism sector and the agricultural sector. Those are core sectors. Mr. Skerrit in his budget has presented the same small $4 to $5 million for promoting tourism. Mr. Lennox Linton in the UWP budget is proposing to double this to $12 million so we can market Dominica the destination, so we can set up a marketing agency in Guadeloupe, Martinique, so we can raise the hotel occupancy in Dominica by about 25% more to 40% more, so there can be stopover visitors coming in and spending money in the economy to generate more wealth, more money in people's pocket, more money for small businesses.
He pointed out that the agricultural sector, which is very important to Dominica, is yet to receive the financial input it desperately needs from the ruling government. The Roseau Central MP explained that in the UWP's budget, allocations have been made for significant investment in the areas of agriculture and tourism, all aimed at growing Dominica's economy.
We are proposing a budget to grow the economy, to reduce the VAT on the tourism sector from the 7.5% to 5%. Sorry, from the 10% rate to 7.5%. This is going to have impact on the tourism sector and stimulate the tourism sector. All Mr. Skerrit is proposing for the tourism sector is to remove the VAT on service charge. And he's saying it so cynically. It's as if he's mocking the tourism sector. I hope that removing the VAT and the service charge will make the tourism sector more competitive. I mean, right now it's a nuisance. But where the tourism sector is choked is the VAT on the 10% VAT and everything else. So in truth and in fact, Mr. Skerrit has not reduced taxes.
He explained the proposed increase in tax allowances will at the end of the day only result in $50 extra in the pockets of some, which is not significant. Honorable Prevost stressed he is disappointed in the budget presented by the DLP government.
To me, Mr. Skerrit sounded like he was just coming into government, or he came in a year ago and he just found out how the economy is bad. Whereas he has been there for 15 years. All the things he's talking about now are things that should have been corrected 12 years ago. Mr. Skerrit is saying now he's going to set up a committee to review tax review. That thing should have been done 12 years ago, because he should have realized 10 years ago that what is crippling the economy is that the returns on investment in Dominica is too low. Investors in Dominica, their returns are just too low.
He stated further that the proposed incentives in the budget as it relates to no taxes on baby wipes and adult diapers will not address the economic issues faced in the country. In other budget-related news, economist McCarthy Marie has undoubtedly stated that the 2014-2015 national budget was written with the general elections in mind.
Election year, that's the time any government who is in power, doesn't matter which side he or she is on, attempts to give as many goodies as he can to the electorate. Yeah, and if you read the budget, for one thing, there are no new taxes imposed on anybody.
He made the statement during a live discussion at the Government Information Services GIS studio on Wednesday evening. According to Marie, the budget attempts to give financial assistance to as many people as possible in order to keep them happy.
It's an attempt to give as many people as possible something. Of course, some of it isn't very large. That's obviously because of the constraint in which the government is operating. If you understand what I mean. The government doesn't have lots of money to be given, lots of largesse to lots of people. So, but it attempts to give everybody something for, to keep them happy.
However, Eddie Lambert, principal advisor to Dominican Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, does not agree and said the national budget speaks boldly to the expansion of the Dominican economy. Lambert noted that in the past 4 to 5 years, the Dominican Labour Party, DLP, has implemented strong social safety net programs, ensuring that citizens were able to withstand the displacement from the country's major industries.
Given the structure of the economy of Dominica, we are coming out of a structure where one crop in one sector was the dominant earner of foreign exchange. And in order to mitigate the effects of the progressive decline in that industry, there was a slack that had to be picked up to ensure that persons did not slip into poverty.
According to Lambert, the budget speaks on expansion towards a more diverse economy.
Government, through its various policy statements in this budget and others made in the past, where government wants to position itself to really take a more minimal role in being the driver of economic growth in the country.
Lambert said instead the budget leans more towards strengthening the role of the private sectors by increasing focus on improving the environment for enterprises to thrive. The Prime Minister's advisor said this speaks to confidence in the policy measures being proposed by the DLP administration. The 2014-2015 national budget was presented by the Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, at the House of Assembly on Wednesday morning. We now go to the People's Poll, brought to you by Beacon. When we return, more stories. Stay with us. Welcome back. British High Commissioner to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Victoria Dean, has thrown her support behind government's pursuit of geothermal energy.
You have a real possibility here. I'm not an engineer, I'm not an expert. I did go and see the plant, but I still am not an expert. You have a real possibility here, if you can make it work, to move to a point where you no longer have to rely on imported diesel.
During a BritWeek press conference today, Dean said although it is not left to another country to dictate how Dominica secures its energy provision, it is clear that Dominicans have a real challenge when it comes to the cost of electricity.
It's clear that you have a real challenge here. Dominicans, as I understand it, are paying the highest price in the region for electricity. And that, as well as being difficult for families and individuals, is a huge burden on businesses and therefore on the possibility for real economic growth. So tackling that in some form is clearly, it's right that should be a priority for any Dominican government.
Dean believes successful generation of geothermal energy in Dominica can place the country in a position to export the source and make a significant impact on its economy. Geothermal activity began with exploratory drilling in October 2009. Literacy, numeracy, visual and performing arts and special education teachers are now better equipped following their successful completion of a 2-week workshop on Thursday. Larry LaRocque has more in this report.
The annual summer workshop was organized by the Dominica Association of Teachers, DAT, the Ministry of Education, MOE, and the Canadian Teachers Federation, CTF. Speaking at the closing and certificate ceremony, Acting Chief Education Officer Melina Fountain remarked that the teachers are now better equipped for their profession. Fountain is hopeful that they will use the information learned to teach students when school reopens in September. She noted such workshops are very important as teachers learn new and best practices essential for teaching.
We all know that learning is a lifelong process, and therefore such workshops operate on the premise that teachers as professionals must avail themselves to continuous opportunities in improving their knowledge and skills so that they can provide students with the best opportunities for learning. The workshops also provide the ideal opportunity for teachers to reflect on their teaching methods, allowing new insights and practices to guide them in the classroom.
Fountain added, teachers cannot do it on their own, and as such, building a quality teaching force to adequately meet the demands of Dominicans remain one of the ministry's main goals.
Over the past few years, we have spared little effort to ensure that our teachers are trained in several areas. So under the Dominica Education Enhancement Project, we have spent approximately $4.5 million so far on training in mathematics, visual and performing arts, cosmetology, plumbing, garment production, crop production, and other areas of technical and vocational skills. We have also provided training in the fields of clinical psychology, speech and language therapy, special education, health and family life education, and information technology. It tells you that we are widening the areas of training we have been providing for our teachers, and we hope to see the fruits of it.
She added, in the upcoming year, the Ministry of Education will continue to train teachers in various fields as they continue to work on fully implementing the Caribbean Vocational Qualifications, CVQs, in secondary schools. Meanwhile, member of the DAT, Francis John Lewis, reminded teachers that they are the main persons contributing towards children learning and development.
No organization, no system, no institution or enterprise is any better than the people in it. And the same applies to schools. And the quality of a school is determined by the quality of its teachers. Workshop participants, teachers, you. I am reinforcing and I'm reiterating to you this morning that you are the most important factor influencing your students' learning.
John Lewis added, an American survey revealed that improving the quality of teachers is the most important action for improving education, which is the direction the DAT is heading. Larry LaRocque reporting for SAT TV. Back to you, Alicia.
Thank you, Larry, for that report. And finally, in our local news segment, the Caribbean Performing Arts Federation, CPAF Inc., will launch for the first time in Dominica on Saturday, July 26 at the Ruins Rock Cafe in Roseau. CPAF, a registered and incorporated non-profit organization in the OACS sub-region, will bring together musicians and artists from across the Caribbean. Media and Communications Director Jackie Shabreen Wicks says it is a very big week for the organization.
We'll be having a really great time celebrating the launching of CPAF. And also CPAF for the first time is going to be partnering with a group called Unity Music, and they're having a concert in Marigot on Sunday where we will be having Omari Banks as headliners, and also Mr. Killer from Grenada, and also bands from St. Lucia and also Dominica.
Following the launch, the public is also invited to an after party from 9 p.m. The role of CPAF is to expose regional artists like Anguillan-born Omari Banks to other regional territories in the Caribbean. Banks, who will headline the concert in Marigot, is a former West Indies cricketer and the son of reggae star Banky Banks, who he said was his major influence.
My whole life I've grown up around music, my dad being Banky Banks, a musician and artist. At the height of his popularity in the late 70s, early 80s. So music is not foreign or strange to me. It's something which I grew up seeing all the time. I grew up the band house being above my bedroom. I've seen musicians come in and out of the house. So music was something which was kind of entrusted at me, not something which I had to go to look for.
Banks revealed that while on the road with the West Indies cricket team, he would always have his guitar, which was why the transition from sports to music seemed like a natural progression.
I thought I was prepared. I thought I'd learned a lot over the years, and I found that that's helped me so much in my songwriting and just the whole creative process of now being a musician. I have a story to tell, the emotional side, where you tend to use your experiences to create something that's meaningful. That is there. And I have most of all, I think, the ethics and the principles which I think are required and necessary for anything that we do in life.
Banks will perform at the Anchorage Hotel tonight prior to his performances at the media launch on Saturday and the concert on Sunday. Here's a sneak preview on his latest song, Move On.
Enjoy the journey where you want to go, and smile at times when your faith's running low. Beware of those who don't mean you well. Improve yourself and show others respect. But don't look back and what you could have done. Just move on, but learn you champion. And don't sit and sulk, my friend, you are God's son. Just move on and learn you champion. With faith the battle's won.
This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.
It's in your moment of trial you decide if you will win or roll over and die. But there is no vision, my friends, we shall die. Steadfast in your faith and soar to the sky. But don't look back and what you could have done. Just move on, but learn you champion.